Sasheen and Dan have a 15-week-old Australian Shepherd, and they're having some problems with the dog, destructive problems actually, and they want to talk about housebreaking, and I think they're interested in perhaps starting some obedience with a 15-week-old dog. He's more than old enough to start. We use a food lure, which we'll talk to them about, which is a real effective way of teaching a puppy in a real positive way that learning is fun. So we'll find their house here and get started. Hi, Dan. Hi.
Must be Brian.
Yes, I am.
Come on
Nice
in.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Sasheen.
Very nice to
Hi.
meet you.
Brian Donovan.
Thanks for coming.
Now you have a new addition to your house.
We do.
A 15-week-old Australian Shepherd.
Australian Shepherd puppy.
All right. And what's going on with this dog?
He's just got basically the same puppy problems that you always encounter. He's chewing some things, some bathroom habits.
Okay, housebreaking. Now, housebreaking is, it's not rocket science, but there are some things it's easy to make mistakes with housebreaking. Housebreaking is all about scheduling. Just like, we have routines that we do every day, we want to make a routine out of it. Once it's a routine, the dog will do the same thing the same way all the time. The mistakes for housebreaking, if a dog isn't housebroken in a couple weeks and should only take about 14 days after getting the dog, it's because the owner is either not supervising the dog, or using bad methods, or the scheduling's off. That's really all that goes wrong with housebreaking. So the first element is scheduling. Feeding is the cornerstone of the whole process. You want to make sure the dog is on a very accurate feeding schedule. Now what that means is you should be feeding him at the same times every day, at the exact same time. So if you're feeding him at 7:30 every morning and say, hey Dan, feed the dog, and you don't get to it till 7:45, that's enough time to set the housebreaking back a few days. So make it the same time every day. Leave the food out for 5 to 10 minutes. Determine how long and stick with it. Really, it's one sitting. So when the dog's done eating and walks away, you should pick the food up.
Okay. So don't leave it down.
No, don't leave it down. That's called a free feeding schedule, where you leave it down. And some dogs just right off the bat they get it and you never have any problems. But it's a rare dog that does it. It's nice to be able to just leave the food down, but most dogs don't do well with that. So you're feeding them, let's say, twice a day.
Actually, that's what we're doing.
Okay, at the exact same time, leave the food out just 5 minutes, pick it up. He doesn't get anything else except for maybe his training treats. And then now the water, you should leave free access to water all day. Don't schedule the water like you do the feeding. And the reason is because the feeding will determine everything. It'll determine his activity level. It'll determine when he's thirsty. So the feeding dictates the water. And puppies can dehydrate themselves real quickly. They can burn up their water real fast. And when they do that, they can get in trouble. So you don't want to make your dog ill. So make sure he has all the water he needs. Now you got to start taking him outside whenever you think he's got to go. Now this is the hit or miss part. No matter how good you are with this stuff, you're going to have some mistakes. So you take the dog out whenever you think he's got to go. Now it's either a housebreaking area, so a litter area, or a housebreaking pad, or out in the yard.
Okay.
You determine that. You can do both if you want, and the dog can learn that there are 2 areas that he can go to. But if you're going to take him outside or in the litter area, make sure that he's in there for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then bring him right back out of that area. So he gets the idea that he's there to get something done and get out. Okay. So if it's the litter area, make sure you put something up so he can't get out of that area for a few minutes. When he does go to the bathroom, look at your watch. So you're trying to determine when he goes in relation to when he eats. So you want to make sure that the elimination is something you can predict. Some dogs, it's right after they eat, they have to eliminate. Other dogs, it may be 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to figure out. So keep an eye on the clock. You might even want to put something on the refrigerator, a little schedule, makeshift schedule, to determine when the dog is going. Now, whenever you can't watch him, remember what I told you before. He's in his crate. Yep. He's in his den all the time. If you can't supervise him, it's not mean. It's keeping him safe. Yeah. And then take him back out when you think he's got to go, or you're going to be playing with him or something like that.
Yeah, the only time he goes in there is when we, like I said, when we leave. I mean, that's about it.
All right. Now, if he does make a mistake in the house, with the potty issue. So if you catch him going, remember what we talked about with the destructive problems, you can't correct it after the fact. Okay? So don't correct him. If you see the mess on the floor, it's too late. Okay? If you see the dog going, you can correct him. This is a very gentle correction. You don't startle him. Don't stomp your foot. Don't, use the rolled up newspaper to hit your hand with to startle him. Don't do any of that, because the dog has to eliminate. He has to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, you don't want him scared of going to the bathroom.
And if you do, he's going to learn to avoid you. So he'll see you in the room, he'll go hide, which is a real common problem for dogs that are corrected in too harsh of a manner. Okay, so you want to make sure it's very gentle. So it should have a sense of immediacy. No, come, let's go outside. So you kind of get his attention. Come on, let's go, get out.
That's exactly what I do, actually.
Yeah, and use the word. I use outside.
Okay.
You use whatever word you want, potty, but use that word consistently. That means it's time to go. Now, when you do get them outside, it's important that you watch them. You got to supervise them. And this is another big area of mistakes. People let the dog outside, then you
come back in here.
Yeah, you come make coffee and do whatever you. Or get back to your life, right?
Yeah.
So you want to really supervise the dog. He's only out there for 5 minutes. Don't leave him out there all day. Just a short time. If he goes, start using that praise word. Outside, good outside, good outside.
Good potty, Gracie. Good girl. Come on. Go back inside.
So just keep saying that over and over in a positive tone. That's a good outside. Now, at first it feels kind of silly. The dog's squatting and you're saying nice things to him, but he's associating the word with the action. All right, and that's what's really going to solidify it. All right, and then on the 10th day, now after doing this for 9 days, on the 10th day, what you do is you take his most consistent time that he's been going out. Let's just say it's 6 o'clock in the morning. On the 10th day at 6 o'clock in the morning, you take him to the door, and you say that word, right? And instead of opening the door, you just stand there. Now, he's going to do one of two things. Either he's going to eliminate right there, he's going to go to the bathroom right there, at which time you can correct him. You can say, no, let's go outside. Or what he's going to do is show some sign of stress. He's going to get worked up a little bit. He might start whining or jumping up. If he does, then that's your signal. You answer him by saying, okay, let's go outside. All right, let's try it. Let's take him outside.
Come on, Diesel. Let's go. You want to go out?
Outside?
Want to go outside? Come on. Come on. No, you can't. Come on. Go outside. Come on, let's go pee. Let's go potty. Yeah, he's either going to do that or he's just going to lay down.
Go pee pee. He's going. He just went.
Good boy. That's a good outside. Good outside, buddy. That's a good outside. That's a good boy. That's a